Welcome Amakhosi Network, welcome to the channel. Today we have some very good news update on signing of Elias Muana to Chiefs. And then also we're gonna be chatting about what Cavin Johnson and Rushwin Dole said about Chiefs, and also the Chiefs has actually submitted a bid for a very good player, and we're going to chat about that. But before we get into that, please like, comment and subscribe, and please join the channel, guys. Subscribe. And if you want to be a member, you can click the join button. The join button allows you to become a member, and you can contribute $20 to the channel a month. You guys know I like to do big things. We're praying good to the Kaizer Chiefs skipper that is coming out is cheap, so we can get some skippers for the fans, but that will just depend if we can get cheap skippers, because this thing of paying 1.5 for a skipper, yeah, shy. But anyway, let's get into it. Elias Muana is not coming to Chiefs. Apparently, he's finalizing a deal. I think it's in Tunisia or somewhere like that. And you know what I say to that Tunisia team? Sharp. I am not laughing at you. I am laughing with you. Guys, let's be honest. Elias Muana is a very good player. He's a decent player. And I think he's going to do well where he's going. He's going to do well for teams that play very direct football. They don't have... they're like, the North African guys. I think he will fit that system very well. Much better. And you know what? I wish him all the best. He's a South African player, and I hope he really does well there. And he represents South Africa, and I hope he still gets Bafana call-ups. Now to address to address him at Kaizer Chiefs, I am so happy he's not playing for Kaizer. He's not signed for Kaizer Chiefs. Well, it's not confirmed that he has signed for that team, but apparently the deal is done. Everyone has agreed to the deal. It's just waiting for announcement. I am happy he's never signed for Chiefs because I prefer for us to have a more finished product. You guys are not going to like this, but the player I actually prefer Kaizer Chiefs to sign is Devin Titus. I prefer Chiefs to go to Stellenbosch and get Devin Titus. Why do I say Devin Titus specifically? I'm sure a lot of you are going to be asking that question. Because Devin Titus specifically plays on the right wing. He knows and he owns the right wing. And the thing about South African football right now, we have people who know how to play on the left wing, whether they are left wings or whether they are right wings who can cut in on the left. We have people who can play through the middle, but the one thing we don't have is someone who just knows how to play as a right wing using his right leg. Not these inverted and what, all those things. So my thing is that he would be a good addition, and he knows how to score goals. He knows how to find the pockets. When the ball is on the left, he knows how to sneak into the box. And when you play with people like Abomdu Shabalala who can pick a pass and they can read people's late runs, Devin Titus will actually do well with someone like that because he's smart. He uses his brain. So that's the player I would like there. But other than that, another thing that Chiefs reported, and you would have seen it if you are subscribed to the Diski Times paper that they give us the paper every Tuesday on WhatsApp, is that Rushwin Dole, Chiefs has given them an offer. Now that is the Kaizer Chiefs I like. You see, because Rushwin Dole is a very good player. He's only 22 years old. He can play at left back. He can play at left center back. Very good player for the future. You buy him now, by the time the boy reaches 24, 25, you sell him to Europe for 50 million. Because that is the player he's going to be. He's been now at the COSAFA Cup. He was the captain of Bafana. And this is not a thing where we're only noticing someone because he was selected for Bafana. No. This guy has been Chiefs has actually wanted him since Cape Town Spurs was in the NFD. But what happened is that when Cape Town Spurs was in the NFD, this boy, Rushwin Dole, was linked to overseas teams, to Europe teams. So obviously, because he was linked to Europe teams, Chiefs was kind of not winning the battle of getting him. So Cape Town Spurs was prioritizing a Europe move. When they finally got promoted, they started using him in the season, and we saw the quality the boy is. And I feel like how he was used at Cape Town Spurs, it's not to the level that he can be. I feel like Rushwin Dole at the in the DStv Premiership played at 60%, and I think he can still play at 80 and 100%, but it just depends on the team and it depends on the structure around him. So I believe in this boy, I really do. So for me, Devin Titus, Rushwin Dole, and Apollos for me are very important signings that I wish Chiefs just gets over the line. And also Velibai. Velibai for me is a bonus if we get him. He's a bonus. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to be like, hey, Lobabo, Tanda Bakala. I like good players. Whether you're black, white, Indian, alien, whatever. Whether you come from wherever, as long as you're going to contribute to our team winning. And those boys have shown good quality. You guys know the other players I always talk about. Yanela Mbutuma, who plays for Richards Bay. I would like him to join Chiefs. Also Robert Polivica. That guy, I also like him. So those are my players that are outside. But let's get to Cavin Johnson. Cavin Johnson was speaking to Robert Marawa, and Robert Marawa asked him a lot of questions. And one thing I'll say is this, guys. We as fans don't ask these guys hard enough questions. You know, some of the voice notes that went into the show was disappointed. Because people were like, Kevin Johnson, you were a good coach. We can't blame what Chiefs was going through. And you know, he was bad. He was bad. Very, very bad. Like, he's bad. He was bad. We're not saying he's a bad coach, but at Chiefs, what we experienced at Chiefs, he was bad. Because he was basically saying, let me put it to you this way. He didn't say the problem was the players. But what he did say basically told us that the problem is that Chiefs doesn't have the right players. Because what did Cavin Johnson say? He said Chiefs that hasn't produced the Jabopoli. He said Chiefs hasn't produced the Dr. Kuman. Then what are you saying? You're saying Chiefs has what? Bad players. But anyway, that is just me. That is me. It's not what he said. I'm saying it. I'm saying that's what I took from the conversation. But anyway, if you are saying that, I agree with him. Guys, and he was saying, for example, in certain games, he couldn't give instructions like during the game to the team because the team is far away and stuff like that. So he'll say his team would just make clumsy mistakes and they would lose because the team's making clumsy mistakes. And let me give you the reason why. Clumsy mistakes come from players who are not the right quality. What does that mean? Clumsy mistakes, guys. If I tell you, like, if someone makes useless mistakes, you concede last minute, what, that means that you're not even a top 8 team. Your players are not top 8 material. Why am I saying this? Because star players don't make clumsy mistakes. They are forced into mistakes. Chiefs players last season were just making mistakes by themselves. Abo Martin, Abo Mteto were just passing the opposition. Like, they'll get the ball, they'll be like, Mdu, pa! It hits the player here. Like, man, this guy is not a Chiefs player, man. And then, those are the kind of mistakes we're making. But that is quality. That is quality. Why do I say that is quality? Because that's what the other useless teams do. They pass us the ball, we go and we shy at them. So that is what happens. There's tough, strong players, and then there's average teams who have average players who make average mistakes. And Chiefs has been making average mistakes because they have... We can say what we want. We maybe have a top 5 squad in terms of quality, but it's not good enough because we want to be number 1. Hey, let me move this way. Number 1. We want to be number 1. So we want to be number 1. And to be number 1, you have to have quality players. We can't compete with Sundowns, with their quality players and all of those things. We need quality. And that's why I'm also worried about the current squad of Chiefs. The current squad of Chiefs does not have the quality. So in that conversation, Cavin Johnson basically highlighted that he lost his academy job because Chiefs said they're going under a restructure, and I don't know what that restructure means, but in my mind I think it's actually Fernando de Cruz. I think is going to restructure the development to play with how Nambi wants them to play. So we're actually going to see a lot of players coming in. And also, Cavin Johnson was highlighting things like maybe the players weren't right mentally and stuff. And I'm like, guys, it was simple. When Cavin Johnson and Mulefe Ntseki were there, we were suffering from a very, very serious chronic disease. A chronic disease. And you know what that disease is called? Bad coaching. Yes. That disease is called bad coaching. Bad coaching results in that bad results. So that's what I'm saying there. We can't be saying that we took... And also bad scouting and bad signing. Bad coaching, bad scouting, bad signing. It's a recipe for disaster. So anyway, And then Molefe Ntseki said the fans didn't like him. And this thing irritates me so much. But he says the fans didn't like him because the fans had already known that there's going to be a new coach and it wasn't going to be him. And when they didn't get that coach and announced Molefe Ntseki, the fans were disappointed because they didn't want him. And that's why the fans didn't like him, because they were expecting someone else and they got him. No, Molefe Ntseki, you got it wrong. We didn't want you because we know what you can do. That is why we didn't want you. If Kaizer Chiefs told us that we got Pizzo, we would be fine. If Kaizer Chiefs told us we got Rivero from Pirates, we were going to be fine. If Kaizer Chiefs said we got Rulani, Mangoba Ntseki, even Steve Compella himself, we even though a lot of us Kaizer Chiefs fans say right no Steve Compella, but we would have been fine. The reason why we didn't want you, Molefe Ntseki, is because we know you don't have a coaching history, and when you coached Bafana it was bad. We didn't play good football with you when you coached Bafana. That is the reason why. We don't hate you, we don't have a problem with you, we just knew you were not Kaizer Chiefs material, and that is the problem. And the funny thing, this is the funny thing, Molefe Ntseki makes it seem as if we as the fans were the only ones who said he was a bad signing. Were we the only ones? Were you the only one? Were you the only one? Hey, Tabo from Echimistin, were you the only one? Hey, Baba from Kwamash, were you the only one who said he's a bad coach? No. Kaizer, Junior Kanye, Vilagazi, Itiski Times, Abompilo, we all knew, Abompilo, all of us, it was a consensus that it was the wrong signing. It was a consensus. Guys, let me tell you something. We would have been less frustrated if Sir Arthur Zwane took over and we were told that we're looking for a coach because negotiations for a new coach broke down. We would have been fine with that. But we knew Molefe Ntseki was not going to be good enough. And that was our problem. So Molefe Ntseki, one thing I'm going to say to you is take a step back. Yeah? Take a step back and just remember my words. And these are my words. We don't have a problem with you as a person, but we just knew you were not good enough as a coach. And you need to sit within yourself and actually reflect on what we are saying, that you weren't a good coach and you have nothing to prove that you were a good coach. And Chiefs had just gone through a cycle of hiring an unproven coach in Arthur Zwane. So do you think that we would be happy with hiring another unapproved coach who hasn't proven himself? On top of that, your assistants were Shepherd and Arthur Zwane, who just failed the previous season. So you need to understand that fans don't have a problem with you, but they have a problem with management, and they knew you weren't going to be good enough. And this is my question to you, Molefe Ntseki. Were we wrong? Were we as fans wrong? Did you prove us wrong? Because you can blame us all you want, but if you got the results, we were going to be eating humble pie. But did you get the results? Did you get the results? That is the question. Did we fire you? Or did Kaizer Chiefs management fire you? Sometimes let's ask ourselves the difficult questions, even if they are hard. You go and point the fingers, but the problem is probably you. So I like Molefe Ntseki. I still believe he was fine in development. We were developing players, Vilagazis, Jensen. All of these players were coming from what Molefe Ntseki had structured in our development. He was fine there. Even if I still believe that he should find coaching. If I was like a team like Sundowns maybe, or Pirates, I'll drop him into my development, because that's how good he is in with the kids and bringing the kids up and those things. He's good in identifying talent, and sometimes that's the important thing. Understand what you're good at and go and just be the best at what you're good at. The coaching one, I've watched you at under 17, I've watched you at Bafana, I've watched you at Kaizer Chiefs. You're not a good coach, but we like your football knowledge and we like your investment in the young players. So that is where I feel like you should put your attention. Amakhosi for life.